Well, I finally made it back over to my son's house, and I came over here for a couple reasons. One is to work on something that needs to get done, which is the 460 engine. And another thing is I gave him a little bit of help with fixing some shock towers out there on that car. Uh, he did all the work, but I was handing him some tools and working the old jack a little bit for him. So anyway, I'll show you what I'm working on here. It's the old 460. Got one of these pads here. These have two different grits to them. One's rougher on one side. I don't know what grit it really is, but they do pretty well for cleaning up a surface such as this. I had tape on this here. Had this pizza box and some shirts under there strapped to the engine, and had tape across here because the engine was flipped upside down and I didn't want the lifters falling back out of it. We had to flip the engine back over, and I already had the lifters and then it, so if I can talk. So we just flipped it back over, and it had gotten a little bit of rust on it right here, and that's all I had to do is take this pad right here, and it has the sides here so you can get in places like this. So it does a pretty nice job. You can get around everything, like these little doohickeys that hold the head on, into place rather. They don't hold it on, they hold it into place. But they do a pretty decent job cleaning things up. And then what I'm going to do is turn the engine over, bring the pistons up, neat cylinder, wipe the cylinders out, and then we'll be putting the heads on, hopefully. So we'll be a little bit closer to having this thing look like a real engine again. I ran out of paint, so the heads are kind of not the same color, so I need to get paint to match the block, because that paint there doesn't match. So I'm not going for anything extreme here as far as being beautiful, but it would help to have it at least be the same color. So that's my thinking on that. But anyway, we're one step closer. This surprised me how much it actually rusted up sitting here. But that's what metal does when it's bare and you have nothing on it to keep it from rusting, such as a petroleum-based product or anything like that. It doesn't take long for this kind of stuff to rust up. So I made the same mistakes with my heads. I thought I was going to be back over here and jump on them, and it was a month or two before I got back here, and same deal, they rusted all up. I had to do all this cleaning all back up again, and it's kind of a hassle, but it has to be done. That was my own fault. I should have took the time to put something on them to prevent that, but you know, sometimes you think you're going to do something and other things get in the way, and you think, well, I'll get to that later, and sometimes later it's just a little bit too late. So that's what happened in this case. So one thing I wanted to bring up was these heads, as you notice, are together now, and that's thanks to two people. Adam put them back together for me, my son, and I kept needing valve seals, and thank you to my friend Ed, Ed's Machine. He had them in stock and had them to me in a couple days, and I appreciate that so much, Ed. One thing people don't understand sometimes is this: a machine shop can give you very good deals on parts, and sometimes guys don't think to call their machine shop and say, hey, do you carry this? Do you have, like, say for instance, a stroker kit? These machine shops have a lot of parts in stock, and sometimes they don't, but they can get mostly whatever you need. And the best part about talking to a fella that does that work all the time is that he can tell you what's a good part, what is good as far as on the low cost of things, if it's still a quality part, or if it's totally, say no, leave that alone. So I'm going to throw that in here because that's important, because sometimes we see these little cheap kits and little deals here and there, and we'll say, wow, that's cheap, I'm going to save a couple hundred bucks here, and you wind up saving nothing, because a lot of times either you use the stuff and the engine maybe blows up or whatever, some kind of failure. But these guys that really know their stuff, such as Ed from Ed's Machine, if you guys don't go to his channel, you need to check him out, because you'll learn some stuff, I'm telling you. They can save you a lot of money and a lot of time if you just take the time to ask. I talked to a friend of mine one time. He does transmissions for a living, and he actually does our transmissions. And he said, you know, a guy just brought me his own kit, which is fine, he said. I can use it. But he said, the difference is this: I could have sold him an upgraded kit and done that transmission for the same price. He thinks he's saving money, but he's really not saving anything, because he found this little kit and it was for a truck. So he could have had better clutches and everything in that transmission if he'd have just got the parts from the transmission guy. He'd been better off. He would have had more of a heavy-duty transmission instead of just mediocre. So sometimes if you try to cheap out, you're hurting yourself. You gotta weigh things out. Everybody wants to save a dollar here and there, but sometimes you're not saving anything. And believe me, I don't have a pocket full of money, but I've learned that lesson. So anyway, I'm gonna get back on this here, and we'll see if I can get this thing all together with the trans on it. After I get the heads and the intake back on it, I'm going to get the transmission bolted up, hopefully. So that will be coming around in the near future. There is a couple things I have to still do. I don't know if you guys remember or not, but this balancer, dampener, whatever you want to call it, they never tapped it, so I have to tap this. And that'll be another thing in the future here we have to do. But it's getting there. I do want to try to get the heads on, but I gotta finish painting the heads with the same paint, which is this color right here, and I'm out of it. So what I might do, I might just go ahead and put the heads on and just paint the heads while they're on the engine here. But anyway, it's been a long day, guys. I just wanted to run this by you. People's been asking me about this, and I haven't been making the best of time on this stuff. You can only do what you can do. So I'm gonna get it done, get it over with here, as far as getting the engine buttoned up, hopefully, and take it one step at a time. So anyway, thought I'd show you guys that. And I did mean to bring my intake with me, but I forgot that. And I told you guys I'd be showing you that. So I still have to show the intake that's done. So I poured it and a little bit extra stuff I did that I think will help it out. But we'll see. Sometimes we do things and think we did something really good, and then it might not be as good as we think. But we'll see how it runs on this motor. Now I'll know as soon as I hear that thing fire up if I did something good or should have just left it alone. Now the only reason I say leave it alone is because this engine is low compression, and the stuff I did to the heads and to the intake would accommodate this engine really well if I had a more aggressive camshaft and if the compression was up. But the piston's down in the hole here. The cam's just a mediocre street cam, and so we'll see if what I did here accommodates this low compression stuff. I don't think it will hurt it, but as far as getting every bit of horsepower out of it, I don't know if we'll see it. But we'll see in the future here, hopefully. So anyway, with that, I'm going to jump back on this here and try to get something done here, fellas. Thanks for watching and tuning in, and I appreciate it. Take care and God bless.